What's going on, family? I just wanted to give you a small update. I was asked, how do you cope out your ends? So when you're doing your ends and you want your ends to that, how do you cope them out and keep from having the gap in them? I'm gonna show you real quick on what I do, and then so so you got your say this is your piece that you want to coat. Use an old piece, like get you a smaller piece, or maybe the piece you're gonna put for your stops. Use your stop. So once you do that, you put this in the inside, and you see where that gap is. You want to make it where the gap is closed, right on it. See, then you get your soapstone. Which, let me grab some. Get some soapstone, and then you just mark it. See, because that top piece don't have to be marked because it got a gap there anyway. So just make sure you got your pieces in there good, because that wasn't always good. See, then just clean it up, coat it out, clean it up a little bit, and then transfer your lines over, and then it'll sit right down. You want it to drop down up in there just like that. So just wanted to give you a update because I had someone ask me about that. So I wanted just to show you. That way you would know on a personal scale how to do it. Coat is easy. A lot of times you could just use other pieces to transfer your lines. So that way you don't have to just draw worried about a measurement and try to make sure the measurement is right and get it close. Just place that piece right on top of it, trace around it, and then cut around it. And it should be pretty simple. But I just wanted to give you that because a few people did ask me that, and I want to make sure that you can do it, that you do it, and that you do it good. I want your things to be good now. You can do it and have a little gap in there. It's not going to hurt because you can weld the top, the side, and the bottom of it, and you still got a good solid piece. But just as far as the cosmetics of it, I think it'd be a lot neater if you would cope it, trim the ends of it. Like on this welding skid here, um, it's done like that. See? I try to do that on all of them because it just makes it look more professional. You know what I mean? Like if it was just mine personally, actually, when I built my first one, um, I had, I believe I had some holes in it. No, I take that back. I had used tubing. So instead of having the forklift holes like this, I used tubing. Uh, two pieces of tubing on the front, two pieces of tubing on the back, and I connected it and welded it off. And actually, that was okay, but this is better. You know what I mean? Like I literally, like when you're building something, you don't really fully know the full process until actually jump into it. So that's what I learned from after building them over process. I need to clean this up. I did some cutting, some wood cutting yesterday. So the main thing is to just use your existing, use what you got. You'll be surprised how it'll work. So just use what you got, make you a little line. That's how you pretty much do it. It's not hard. Like I say, you just use your scrap piece and do it like that. And another thing too, this channel is 4.1. They also sell a 3.5 channel. If you can get the 3.5 channel, 3 inch, I will go that route. It's a little lighter and it's still structurally sound, but it's going to cost you a little less and it's still strong. Some places only carry the 4.1, but if you can get, this is 4.1, but I also use 3.5, but it's kind of hard to find. But I just found a company that actually carries it. So I'm gonna be buying 3.5 because actually 3.5 is a little lighter, and so it just helps you be able to, when you put it on your truck, you just got less weight. That's why it's openings in this, because if I would have put a flat plate in every spot, then it's just extra weight that you don't really need, So my goal was to have it in spaces and gaps where you only get what you need, and it's not bulk, it's not real heavy, but it serves a great purpose. You know what I mean? So that's why I designed it like that. But like I say, this morning I just wanted to show you how to cope it. Pretty simple. um, I would say this: when you squaring it off, And after you cope it, always, this is what I do. Tack one end, tack that end, but always tack it on the outside end so it can still move. Tack each end and then run your tape measure from both ends until you get them the same. You know what I mean? Or at least close, real close. But the same is what you want, what you look for. You can do it. So a lot of times you have to tilt it a little bit or push one. So you know it's different ways to do it. Or you can do it like what I do. If you build one jig, then you can just set the frame right on top of it and build it right on top of that existing one, and you know you got it right. So it's more than one way to do it, but I just want to give you some updates on it because someone asked me. So I want to make sure that you know how to do it properly, and it's not that hard. So just keep that in mind when you're coping it. It's not real complicated, but if you use what you got, you can make it turn out real smooth and professional. Because sometimes people think they got to have a plasma cutter, they got to have this, they got to have that. Man, you can do a lot of things, man, with a grinder, a hand grinder, and a cutting wheel. Before I even bought a chop saw, before I ever spent the 200 or whatever it was on the chop saw, I was using a regular grinder that I bought, a good D-Wall grinder. I think I actually got three different sizes, but I think I had the medium size at the time. And hey, that's what I was doing. I was cutting all my pieces with it. So don't despise that they're small beginnings. Just get started, build your independence, and then as you grow, you can add more to your enterprise. You can put more stuff to your skids. You can add more things to them. You can put more accessories. You can make it more sufficient. You can, as you do things, you'll learn things like I learned about my gaps. There's so much you can learn, but as you go, you don't know until you get to messing with it. Like for instance, this one, I made this one where the gas bottle go on this side because the gas bottle is always bigger. The oxygen bottle go on that side. The oxygen bottles can be smaller. You see what I'm saying? The smaller cylinders. So I made it where you got one specific side for one. Now I tried to make it where it was just one for one, but it made it more neater to actually separate the dimensions because majority of the time your oxacetylene bottle will be the biggest one because you'll run out of oxygen before you run out of gas sometimes. So because the oxygen is actually what cuts the metal and the heat heats it up. So for those who didn't know the process, it's pretty much the process to that. But the goal is, like I say, is to build your independence. So I wanted to give you some tips this morning. Don't want to keep you that long. Just want to give you some tips on building your welding skid once you buy the prints. So for those who purchased the prints for me, I appreciate it. I want to salute everybody and thank everybody who's been there working with me. But for those who want to purchase the welding skid prints, they are $100. You can send it to me through Cash App or PayPal, and you will be emailed a copy of the welding skid. And that way you can build your own. And also I send out a copy from a steel mill to show you what I order myself. That way you'll be familiar with the terminology, familiar with the prices in that area. And you can compare the prices and you can see what material you need to use. So when you get this print, depends on which one you get. You got the horizontal one, or you got the vertical one. And like I say, I made these to be able to help you gain your independence, get yourself established. And for those who can't afford to buy one whole from me, they start off at $500. You can get the blueprints for $100 and build your own, or you can get the DIY kits for $350, and I assemble everything and you weld it together yourself. So it all depends on how you want to do it. I just wanted to make options for everybody, but I also want to make you be able to get your independence because I know as you make money, you do better. You know what I mean? You can be able to invest in better equipment. So the goal is to get started. So just wanted to come to you and talk to you about that this morning. Hopefully everybody have a blessed day. Okay.